As you can tell, we got a new camera and a new backdrop. Not really, I just... I wanted to try something new, but this looks kind of weird. So if you know me, which you don't, people who do know me, my close friends or even acquaintances, they know that I love my dog so much. My dog is literally a topic for like more than half of my conversations. My dog is my life. My dog is everything. If you can't already tell by reading the title, this video is gonna be about my dog because I love my dog. So an important thing to know that before I got my dog, I was actually like terrified of fucking dogs. Like if I saw a dog really far away, I would get fucking freaked out and I would jump into my dad's arms and I'd be like, get me the fuck out of here. When I was younger, I fucking hated dogs. They scared the living shit out of me. Get your fucking dog, bitch! I just couldn't be anywhere near dogs. But then out of nowhere, I forget, like I was 9 or 10, I just out of nowhere got a sudden urge to be like, I want a dog. I don't know why. It doesn't make sense for a kid that hated dogs to be like, I suddenly want a dog. I have no idea what suddenly made me be like, I'm over my fear of dogs. I'm ready to have one. At that time, I didn't really understand the concept of money or understood the concept of paying bills for your dog. Around that time, my dad, he had different jobs. Like, he owned a restaurant / was the manager. And he would also go and sell ice creams in the evening after work because he wanted extra money. And at that time, he was also trying to go to like school for air conditioning. Is this going to be a story time about my dad?
I don't think so.
Like a month or two before I actually got my dog, I would go selling ice cream with my dad. In the evenings, we'd go sell ice cream together. I would just sit in the passenger seat and I'd watch him do it because I was like, I don't want to talk to people. Even at that age, I didn't want to talk to people. But I would go selling ice cream with him. And like, there was this one time that a little girl that came to the ice cream truck, she had like a chihuahua. She had a fucking chihuahua. And I was like, oh my God. It was like, I think it was a puppy. Yeah, it was a puppy. She came up to us and like I immediately got out of the seat and I was like trying to look at the chihuahua kind of like slickly, and I ended up like going up to the girl and I was like, oh my God, is that a puppy? And she was like, yeah, my dog just had them. She had a whole bunch and we're trying to get rid of them right now. And I was like, oh my God. It was like a little white chihuahua and it was so fucking cute. And I like looked at my dad and I was like, oh my God, it's time. He told the girl like, hey, can you bring your dad out so I could talk to him? And like the dad came out and they were talking and he was like, yeah, we're thinking of selling it. Do you want one? And he was like, I don't, but she does. And I was like, ah! And he ended up like talking to them and they were like, yeah, we'll sell you one if you want one. I remember before I went home, I took some pictures of it. And then when we got home, like right away, I went up to my mom and I was like, look at this fucking chihuahua. Isn't it fucking cute? And she was like, where did you see that? And I was like, well, we were selling ice cream. They're going to sell them. And I told her and she was like, aw. And basically me and her were talking for a while. And she was like, what would you name it if you got it? And I was like, huh. I was like, I can't think of a name to save my life. And my mom was like, let me give you some suggestions. And at some point she was like, Milky. And I was like, oh, that's a cute name. That's how I picked his name. I was like, oh my God, that's a cute name. Like, it's white, Milky. Then come to find out a few weeks later when we went back to go like look at the dog again that they were gonna sell, they were like, oh, we're not going to end up selling it because it got sick and we don't want to give you a sick dog and then you have to pay for all that stuff right when we give it to you. My dad was like, oh, okay, I understand. And I got so sad. I was like, oh my God. And as a kid, I was really like over dramatic. Like, I'll probably make a story time about how dramatic I was as a kid, but I was very dramatic. I went home and I fucking like, I laid on my bed and I started playing like sad music. I remember my dad was nice about it and he came into my room and he was like, don't worry, I'll get you a dog. It might not happen that soon, but I'll get you a dog. And I was like, okay. And I was like, well, at least he agreed to getting me a dog and didn't just say, well, that's that. You're not getting a dog ever from me. I forget how many months later, me and my mom we started looking for dogs on our own because I was like, well, where the fuck am I gonna find a fucking dog for sale? And specifically a chihuahua, because I want a fucking chihuahua. Like, chihuahuas have always been cute to me and I want one. So we were going through and we went to like gas stations picking up like newspapers and stuff to see if they had like ads for, oh, dog for sale. If we saw that it said Chihuahua for sale, we would go and look at them. I think we went to see like 2 places that were giving away Chihuahuas before we actually got to my dog. We were gonna go to 3 houses that day. We already went to like 2 of them already. So my dog's was like the last stop. And she was like, okay, after this, we're gonna give it a rest with looking for the dog for a while because I'm getting tired. And I was like, okay. And we ended up calling the lady and she was like, yeah, go ahead and come over. And the funny thing was the place where we got him at, it was like 2 minutes away from my dad's restaurant where he worked. So I was like, at least it's close by. We went to her apartment. And we went up and she like sat us in her like living room / kitchen area. Oh my God. And then she brought out all the fucking Chihuahua puppies and they were so fucking cute and small and they fit in like my hand. Like they were so small. I think in a way it's kind of sweet and cute, but when I chose Milky, it was kind of like love at first sight. Like I saw him and immediately I was like, that's my dog. I'm gonna get that dog. That I don't even show me the other ones. I want that one, the one with the diamond on his head, because that looks cool. Like she gave them to us, and I just kept going back to pick up Milky over and over again. And I was like, oh my God, this is it, Chief. I think he was like the calmest and like most timid out of all of them. He had the biggest head too. The lady told us that he was like specifically, I think it was like an apple head Chihuahua or something. I was like, bitch, it's just a Chihuahua, who cares? Because his head was so big, she was like, oh, that one, I like to call it melon head. And I was like, no. We ended up choosing Milky, and before we even got to choose him, my mom was like, no, we need to talk to your dad, and he needs to come and see the dog too, because he's the one that's paying for it. We ended up calling my dad while he was at work, and we were like, hey, we found these Chihuahuas like right next to your workplace. Do you want to come and look? And he was like, I guess. And like a few minutes later, he showed up and he ended up liking Milky too. Apparently, we got Milky pretty cheap. Like maybe, I don't know. And I think Milky was like 300 and they gave him like shots and stuff before we got him. I mean, in the end, Milky was worth it. So we ended up getting Milky, and then she was like, so what are you gonna name him? And I was like, not Melonhead. I remember that before we left with him, she was like, now I need you to promise that you're gonna take good care of him and that you're not gonna, I think she said like abandon him or something. I was like, I could never. But we ended up taking him home, and I remember that whole day I did not want to leave his side. Like, he was so fucking cute. It was the day before I was gonna start 6th grade. How am I gonna go to school with a fucking puppy and being worried about the puppy all day long because the puppy's gonna be home alone because everybody works and goes to school? And I remember like that night, I didn't even want to go take a shower. I wanted to be by him. That first night was pretty horrible though. So that night, like, my mom immediately, like, she, like, laid down some rules. She's like, the dog's not going to be jumping on any of the furniture. He's not going to sleep on any of the furniture because he has so much hair. Just, he sleeps in his bed. You're not to let him onto your bed at all. That whole fucking night, fucking Milky, he kept fucking crying all fucking night long. He would just be crying at the edge of my bed, and I would just be like, Milky, shut the fuck up! Even though I knew he was a puppy at that age, I didn't really process how a puppy acts and all that. I was a fucking idiot, so I just assumed as a kid that he would just pass out in his own bed and then wake up when I wake up, but that's not how puppies work. They're like babies. They're literally like fucking babies. And I remember just that whole night I couldn't go to sleep, and I was so pissed when I woke up in the morning. And I texted my mom and I was like, he didn't let me sleep at all. He kept crying. And she was like, well, what did you expect? He's a puppy. And I was like, I expected him to be asleep. For a good amount of time, for the first, I want to say month, the motherfucker would always wake me up in the middle of the night and he would be crying. Eventually that led to me second guessing my want for a dog. I regret this part of my life because I was stupid. I mean, I was a kid. I didn't really expect that much responsibility with a dog and like having to deal with that kind of thing because I'm a kid. I was a kid, I mean. But he pissed me off so much to the point where I would go up to my mom and I'd be like, I can't handle this anymore. Like, I love that fucking dog because it's cute and everything, but I love sleeping more. Even as a kid, I knew my priorities. I was like, I love sleeping more, and he's just waking me up way too much. Can he like sleep with you some nights? And she was like, no, you said you wanted the dog, so this is your dog. You have to fucking deal with it. And I was like, oh my God. And I would just keep telling her, like, I don't want this dog. I do not want this dog.
Oh, Rima, I thought we were gonna be like BFFs in the house. That's what we said from the beginning. And then you turned on me. Why'd you turn fake on me, Rima? I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand, bitch. I don't understand. I don't understand, bitch.
Get rid of the dog. And she was like, are you fucking kidding me, Arleen? And I was like, no, I don't want the dog.
My gut and my heart is telling me that I just like did this too fast and I didn't know what I was doing. I wasted everyone's money. I wasted everyone's everything and I feel bad.
And my mom did try to find another home for Milky, but every time she thought she was gonna have someone to buy him, like, it ended up not working out. We ended up keeping Milky, and that is the best decision we've ever made because I cannot go a day without my fucking dog. Like, I love my goddamn stupid dog. Few people told me to keep Milky. Mostly it was my brother and my cousins. They were like, you need to keep that fucking dog. Like, he's so cute. Why would you want to get rid of it? Like, he may be waking you up right now, but he's gonna grow out of it. He's just a puppy. Like, and I was like, yeah, you're right. I kept fucking Milky. Having a dog was a lot more responsibility because I never had a dog prior to that moment because I was scared of dogs. But having a dog, I realized that a lot goes into taking care of a dog. Like, when you're a kid and people tell you it's a lot of responsibility, you're like, shut the fuck up. It's gonna be easy. It's gonna be a piece of cake. It's just a dog. Like, all you need to do is feed it and let it go pee and drink water. Like, no, there's a lot that goes into having a dog. But then I ended up learning more along the way about how to take care of my dog and all the shit that goes into taking care of a dog. Dogs are expensive. Like, that's also like a big commitment, is the amount of money you're gonna be spending on them. Like, you don't think you're gonna spend as much, but if you get a dog like mine that gets sick like every fucking week, it's like, wow, that adds up. Literally everything happens to that motherfucker, but I'm like, oh, whatever, I'll do anything to make you feel better because I fucking love you. All in all, I think getting Milky was like the best decision that ever happened to me. He makes up like a whole part of my life, and oh my God, I'm gonna get emotional. I'm not gonna cry on this channel, I swear to God. Oh my God, I'm tearing up. Okay. It's because he's old. Oh, anyways, here's my doggy, my baby, my angel. Breathe into the microphone. He's a very good boy. He needs a nail trimming though. He likes to cough. He likes to breathe hard. He likes to cuddle me and he likes to be spoiled. Oh my God, you're sleepy again. You just woke up. My dog, I love him. And I know he won't be here forever. Oh my God, I'm gonna start crying again. Get through this video. He won't be here forever, and I'm just gonna fucking appreciate the time I have left with him. I would suggest to get a dog. The only bad parts are when they get sick or hurt and all that. So that's the only thing bad. And like the money. You kind of know what you're getting into if you get a dog at an older age. Like, they're expensive, but it's worthwhile. They become a big part of your family. Sometimes you might see him or hear him in the back of a video coughing or crying or breathing.
If you know how I feel, why would you say that? Like, you put me in such an uncomfortable situation.
He's like, okay, I need to go pee. Can you like end this?